Welcome back to the Mike Leaf Show here on the Warriors Sports Network and Coach Leaf. It's a big weekend on the road for the Warriors. Two conference showdowns, Friday night at Concordia-St. Paul, and then Saturday, a game against a ranked Minnesota State team in Mankato. Nothing like easing yourself into conference play.
I know. Who makes these schedules? I tell you, it's going to be oh man. People don't realize coaches get nervous too.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I've always said this about Concordia. They're a team that's very explosive. They played here in Winona a couple weeks ago, and you saw really two sides of them, like a Jekyll and Hyde. But I tell you what, they got some talent, some size, and they can light it up. And Mankato, obviously very highly ranked, and they got a lot of returners, a lot of size, and a team to be reckoned with.
I want to ask you about Concordia, and they were here 2 weekends ago when Northwood and Ferris State were in town, kind of a regional crossover.
Yeah.
So you got to see two games that Concordia played, and they did the same. They got to come and watch your games as well. But getting that first look at an NSIC opponent, how much of an advantage is that for you so that you're a little more familiar? Obviously, you can see all the tape, but now you've seen them in person twice. Does that help a little bit?
I think it does. Yeah, absolutely. You just kind of see their mannerisms, off to the side where the camera may not catch it, and I definitely do think it's an advantage. But at the same time, once you start playing, and it shouldn't be that way, but you start into that conference season, and it just elevates everybody's play because there's so much more on the line, and so especially them playing at home. So it can be. They had the same thing of seeing us. We do see a lot of tape on them, but again, it's an even playing field.
You mentioned how many athletes they have and how explosive they can be. What do you have to do defensively to shut down an offense like that?
Well, we've got to definitely keep them away from getting the ball into the lane because they've got too many good shooters, and like Cole Olstead, and actually his brother's pretty good. He's been playing very well as of late too. But just not letting them set themselves up on the three, and we saw a little bit of that in the second half at Upper Iowa. So our help is so deep in the lane, so we've got to be in a help position early, stop dribble penetration.
Go to Saturday, a game against Minnesota State. The last time Warrior fans saw the Mavericks was in the championship game of the Central Region Tournament last year, won by the Warriors there in Mankato. These are two different teams, still both very, very talented, the Warriors and the Mavericks, but two different teams who are replacing a lot of pieces each. What do you see so far out of Minnesota State?
Well, what I see out of them is that it's almost like they're angry. And it's on a positive side.
Right.
I mean, they're on a mission, and I see such balanced scoring within their team. Is that their players, and it's a little bit similar to us, but there are different nights, different players can really shine,
right.
And so they've got all of those weapons, and I really think their inside game is so strong. And from a rebounding standpoint, they're just out rebounding everybody. 10 plus a game, and that's going to be for us tough to overcome. But if we have five guys crashing and getting in there and fighting, we should be able to do it.
It's going to be two hostile environments to go play at. Taylor Cameron, Kellen Taylor, your two seniors, both had great games at Upper Iowa, both in double figures, and both actually finished just a rebound or two away from a double-double. But these are guys who have been through this in the NSIC before. Do you rely on them maybe a little bit more this week, telling the guys, hey, this is what you can expect this weekend in two places that are really hard to play?
Absolutely. And they share their wealth of knowledge. They really do. And you see that in practices when we're discussing our opponents, and you'll see that preparing. So that comes with the experience and being around the block. And those two are excellent at it, and so we really do rely a lot on those two.
There's going to be two great tests this weekend for the Warriors.
Absolutely.
Saturday night, it's a 8 o'clock game at Concordia-St. Paul, and then Saturday, did I say Saturday the first time? Friday night at Concordia-St. Paul, it's an 8 o'clock game, and then Saturday against Minnesota State at 6. Two great games on the road for the Warriors. That's all we have this week with Coach Leaf. We'll be back next week.